Picked up this model at the IPMS show in Sacramento, and it was such a good deal I couldn't pass it up. And besides, this is a ship I've looked at for a while and have wanted to build. So the price was extremely low, so I just picked it up. This is a brand new kit too. It came totally sealed, so I'm going to open it up and we're going to look inside. All right. Let's see what we got inside the box, huh? That is, if I can get the box open. This is one of those boxes that are so tight, you need a shoehorn to get it open. Actually, I am going to grab something. It's going to assist me here. There we go. That got it up. There we go. All right, so it's got a real nice illustration on the front. And on the side here, real nice illustration also. It says Cartograph decal printed in by Cartograph. Nice. And here on the other side we have another nice illustration looking down on the ship. So pretty cool. All right. Now, what do we got here? Okay, laying right on top, we got the instructions. And once again, it's the World War II Liberty ship, SS Jeremiah O'Brien in 1/350 scale by Trumpeter. Nothing else I need to see really on the front here. Let's just take a quick look through everything. Typical Trumpeter. They're showing you the parts, trees, what you get. And then we're going to go right into step one, which will be building the hull and laying the decks on the hull, which is pretty typical of Trumpeter. So let's see how many steps we got in this kit. There's 17. Yep. Okay. 17 steps altogether. That's what it looks like. And on the very back page we have the painting and marking guide. Nice. And they tell you the colors up here in the corner. These aren't Tamiya numbers, but I can figure it out, I think. Okay, so there is the instructions. Now, in the box here, we will start with this spot here. This is the hull, and the bottom of the hull, which is red plastic. The top portion of the hull right here. It's in a nice medium gray color. This sprue laying on top looks like pieces for the deck. Everything looks good. Trumpeter, yeah, I don't see any defects. Next plastic bag has 2 sprues in it. Various parts that go on the deck, of course. Here is a small bag that has just a few small decals. And then, let's see what else. I think that's all that's there. It's funny, they don't give you a anchor chain. It's alright, I got plenty of those somewhere. And then this sprue right here looks like it's duplicated. Yeah, these two sprues in this bag are exactly the same. Okay. Yeah, that's the D sprue. Here's the B sprue and the C sprue. This must be the A sprue, right? Yes, the A sprue. Okay, I'm going to start getting out the pieces we're going to need to get started on this thing. Now what they give you here is 3 parts for the hull. This red fin piece here is what you use to put on the bottom, like this, more or less. Kind of goes on like that, and that just gives you enough to make a water line build to where it's just sitting on the water, if you choose to do so. You know, like for a diorama or something. Anyway, but I'm going to build it full hull, so that means I'll be using this part. And the first thing I like to do is check the fit of all this. And we're going to see how it all fits together. I'm not doing this right, am I? No, it goes this way. There we go. It's not as easy as it looks. Come on now. Okay, got the front done. Oh, come on. I kind of missed it. The back. Okay, there's the front. And there's the back. All right. There we go. Looks like it fits okay. I'll be putting lots of tape on it when I actually glue it together. So, the first thing we're going to do is paint this the hull red, and then we'll paint this separately, the marine gray that it needs to be. And same with the decks, and then we'll start adding all the decks and stuff like that. So for right now, we'll get this prepared and get it ready for painting, which means we'll have to put a black water line all the way around. So what I'll do is I think I'll tape this for the black water line first and do the black water line. No, let's not do it that way. I'll paint this whole thing gray first, then I'll paint the water line, then I'll paint this red, and then we can glue it together. I think that's the order I'm going to go in. The first thing I do is sand the bottom of the hull to get any irregularities off the bottom, such as a big seam and big plastic nub sticking up. Now, right now it looks like it's really scratched up, but I've gone over it with fine sandpaper and it feels real smooth. So we're going to leave it like this. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start painting this hull and the upper portion of the hull. I'm going to hit it with my red oxide, and then we'll let that set up for a while, and then I'll tape it off to spray the black water line, which, as you can see on this ship, is pretty thick, and there's actually a strip of white between the black water line and the red, and it's a little tricky to see where the line is supposed to be, but I have a kind of a general idea. by the position of where the propeller is going to be here, and the curve of the bottom of the hull there gives me an idea. Am I going to get it perfectly? No. Am I going to worry about that? No. Okay, here's the hull, the bottom hull, painted. And as you can see, hopefully, you don't see any scratches from where I sanded it. So that came out good. There's the original color right there. Let's get it in the light here. There's the original color. And here is the color I sprayed on. Now I still have to put the waterline on it. And as for the upper hull, what I've done is added the two deck pieces onto the bow and the stern. And they were kind of a, well, I want to say a sloppy fit. They fit okay, but not very tightly, so see a bit of a gap right there. And on this side also. The rear section is not too bad, but there's a very noticeable seam. It has to be all smoothed out. So that's my next job, is to smooth out these seams right there on the bow and the stern sections. Alright, so I'm working on this seam on the bow here. And I have sanded it down pretty good. But it has to be smoothed out. And I'm probably going to apply some putty. So I always try and put tape all around where the seam is and get as close to the seam as possible. And then I'll get the Tamiya putty and put it on. So then, while this bow section is drying, I've moved on to the stern, got it taped off. And I have just finished up steps 2 and 3. Okay, and what that has done here is these big giant hatch covers have been put on. These crane winches. There's a couple of gun tubs in the front here. This right there is an anchor in an upright position. We've got all these ventilation tubes, and basically the same thing is repeated in the back, the stern of the ship. So that has completed step 3. All the red slash marks means all those steps have been completed. Now we're moving on to step 4, 5, and 6. And this is where we're going to start putting together some of the superstructure and mast parts. And this is going to be, it looks like C and D sprues for the most part. So I'm going to go ahead and find these pieces and start putting these wall parts together to make these pieces of superstructure. And then the masts are 2 to 3 piece parts, and we'll start working on those too. Okay, This is probably what these 3 steps here, 4, 5, and 6, is probably what I'm going to accomplish for today, I'm thinking. This is quite a lot of parts right here, so we'll see how far I get with that. Anyway, here's the ship so far. I think it's looking all right. Got a little mess up there on the black paint. I have to touch that up with the gray. That's not a big deal. It's happened before. And this side looks okay. Let's see, let's set it down here. This side looks pretty clean. Looks good. Didn't mess this side up. Anyway, there it is. Okay, here we are through step 6. We have these 3 main masts attached with their bases, these little I don't know what you want to call them. They have doors on the back and ventilation tubes on top. And I'm assuming this is where there's going to be some lifting cranes of some sort attached to these. Anyway, there's 3 of these masts that I put on. And they fit really well. So far this kit has been pretty good. No real serious issues. Alright, so that completes through step 6. And that's what I was hoping to accomplish today. The next day that I work on this, or the next time, I'm not sure if it's going to be tomorrow or a couple days from now. We'll work on this next page, page 8. And this is where we start building up more of the actual, you know, the main superstructure and stuff that's going to go on the main part of the ship, which is going to fit right there in that middle rectangular area there. And so we're going to start building that up. Starts with the 4 walls here. Then we start adding more stuff and more stuff, put a roof on it. And then when the roof's added, going to be adding all kinds of stuff on top, even some gun tubs. So, yes, the ship was armed. Alright, so I'm working on the main and center superstructure where the funnel is, and there's some gun tubs and stuff. And it's going to go right on this platform. I just glued this on. This base of the superstructure, and then this part is going to go on top of that. So I'm going to glue that on now, and we'll start building up on it from there. Alright, so here we go. I almost glued it on backwards at first. I don't know if you caught that or not, but anyway. So now it's on the right way. And I just glued it down. So here we are with the main superstructure that's in basically the center of the ship. And it's where all the, the pilot is, and some gun tubs sitting on top, and yeah. So it's coming together. Starting to look like a cargo ship from World War II. Yeah. Alright, now we are going to start attaching all the boat davits and the lifeboats themselves. And you can see the positions where the lifeboats go and the boat davits right here along the sides. Here are the davits. Here are the boats, and there's 2 sprues that have this on it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all these davits and the boats right now. Here we have the boats put on and the davits. Next we're going to build up this little roof looking structure that's going to go down here just below the gun tubs and in between the 2 steps, right in that little spot right there. There's going to be a little greenhouse looking structure. And if you look on it on the sprue right there, you can see it's either got those are either supposed to be windows or hatches. I would imagine they're hatches. And coming out of the top of this structure is a bunch of large air vents. This ship has lots of these big tubular tall vents all over it that help to circulate fresh air through all the cargo holds. So I imagine without them they'd get pretty hot and stale inside and ruin the cargo that's inside if it's any food products. Anyway, let's move on to the little greenhouse thing. Okay, here is that little hatch greenhouse looking thing with all the ventilation tubes sticking up. It has to be a bunch of hatches, I guess. I mean, they're pretty good sized hatches. I'm not sure how you'd open them, but probably all hydraulic. And I'm not sure why you would need hatches on this little thing, but since you have all these big, huge cargo holds all up and down the ship. But there it is. Now there's a couple more things to do in this particular step, and that is I am going to add a couple more ladders in this area. So this is through step 11. And this is as far as I'm going to go today. And up to this point we have quite a bit done. All the masts, the main masts, if you call them masts, that are part of the hoist system, crane system for bringing up all the stowage and cargo and stuff that's down in the hatches. Got 4 anti-aircraft guns in these gun tubs around the funnel. All the boats are on, and the davits. Step 12 has many parts to it. It's building a bunch of gun platforms, and this is the base of this little piece of I don't want to call it superstructure. It's basically an elevated gun platform that has 3 different guns on it, and it goes right there on the back of the ship. So that's a substantial gun that they have on here. Plus they have numerous smaller caliber guns for anti-aircraft or anti-submarine use. So this is what I'm working on now, is these steps right here. And I think I've got all the parts cut off the sprues, except I don't have all these support beams or support columns for this gun platform. But I'm not going to cut those off yet because they're really easy to lose. So what I'm going to work on now is building up the large gun platform that goes on the stern of the ship. Alright, so here is that large gun platform on the stern of the ship. It lays on top of a structure made up of 5 different walls, as shown in this illustration here. There's the structure underneath, and then the platform lays on top. There's all the parts that I put together. So that's on. The guns will go on later. Right now I'm going to build up this smaller gun platform right here with all the support columns. And it is going to go on the very bow of the ship, as indicated right here in this step. So it goes right over this winch where the breakwater walls are. Alright, the forward gun emplacement is attached with the little ladders, and then we move back to the stern, and here's the larger gun platform. It is now glued on. Next, let's see, next we're going to turn the page here. We're going to move on to step 14. Step 14 looks to be the time when we start attaching some of these booms, some of these derrick or crane booms. Let's see, what else are we attaching in this step? I'm not sure. Oh, a couple of the guns into these smaller gun tubs. Here is a cutter, it's called. We're going to build up this cutter and glue it down. Right there. Goes onto the deck right there. Also on this same step, we're doing, okay, so basically what we're doing is we're doing it on both sides. Alright, so I'm going to find the parts for this, which looks like it's going to be mainly the D sprue. And we'll start getting these parts together. Alright, I'm going to start gluing these booms into place. All part of the crane or derrick assembly for lifting and depositing cargo into the cargo holds. So these are the booms that attach to the little housing section for these tall towers. And so I'm going to start with D11 right here and attach them to this one right here, which is this middle one right here. So let's see how I do. Okay, here's something that's a little on the odd side. You can see right there, there is a spot where something like some walls or a building or something, some sort of structure is supposed to go right there. Okay, but yet there is nothing in the instructions. And in fact, here's the spot right there. And in the instructions, in between these two vent pipes, there is nothing there. There's this structure right here, which is that thing. And immediately behind it, there's the two vent pipes. There is not supposed to be anything there. So Trumpeter must have put a part in this kit that doesn't belong. Maybe this deck piece right here, where this greenhouse looking thing is with all vent pipes all around it, it's supposed to be totally flat. No raised surfaces there for another structure of some sort. So I'm thinking this part there that they put in this kit is the wrong part. In other words, it could be for another ship, another kit. And I didn't remove that because I thought there was a part coming up that was going to go there. But if you look on the illustrations, right there, that's the area we're looking at. And there is nothing there except these two ventilation pipes. Yet there certainly is something supposed to be there with this kit, with this part. So, what do I do? Do I just make up a part and stick it there? I could with some plastic styrene sheets, build a little something there. Maybe I should do that, or I should try and cut this out and sand it, but that's going to be very difficult with all the parts already glued down around it. Anyway, Trumpeter strikes again. Okay, so here we are at the end of the day. We have all the booms, cranes, the boats, the davits, the guns, the gun platforms. We need a piece of railing there, and in the back here, up here, a little piece up there, and then we need the propeller and the rudder put on. After that's all done, we'll start working on putting some rigging. Alright, so here it is. Only thing left to do is put the decals on it, which aren't very much. And I looked through all my stash and I don't have any railing that would work on these gun platforms or anywhere on this ship. I have some 1/350 scale railing, but it's not even close to the right kind. So I'm just not going to put any on. It's too bad Trumpeter didn't provide some railing, at least in this kit. Now, I did not get the rigging, you know, exactly how it's supposed to be. I just did my own thing. So anyway, there it is. I'm going to put the decals on and then it'll be done. So here is the completed model. I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. As for the kit itself, it was mostly a good kit with good fitting parts. Decent details. Instructions were pretty easy to follow. There are a few things that Trumpeter could have done, I don't know, better or included in this kit, I guess. One would be a fret of photo etch for railings. Because this forward gun emplacement should have railing on it. The center superstructure should have railing all along the top up there and portions of the bottom. The rear large gun platform should have railing on it, as well as the very stern of the ship should have some railing on it. The other weird part about this kit is that, sorry about the shaky camera, is this section right down here in between these two vent pipes. There is a spot on the deck that looks like a structure of some sort. A small structure is supposed to be attached there or built up there. Yet all the illustrations and pictures that come with this kit, including the instructions, do not show anything there. It shows it just being a flat portion of this deck. So why that is there, I don't know. I'm talking about that thing right there. I'm thinking that this deck piece, this large deck piece right here that is just underneath this main superstructure, I think that it belongs to another kit of another Liberty ship that Trumpeter made. And somehow this got overlooked, or the wrong part was stuck into the box, the wrong sprue. Anyway, yeah. They also could have included some photo etch ladders. So these plastic things. I mean, you know, it's okay. It's a basic kit. And I just built this out of the box. I do have some railing in 1/350 scale, but it was for the USS Indianapolis, a cruiser, and the railing is not the right kind of railing for this type of ship, so I didn't use it. I'm not going to buy any aftermarket railings just for this little model kit. It is what it is, and I'm done with it, and it's going to sit on the shelf like this. So all the decals, which aren't very much, were put on. Mainly the name of the ship right there, the Jeremiah O'Brien, the water depth marks on the bow of the ship. What else? There's a little decal that goes on both sides here that say the Jeremiah O'Brien on it. Those black ones right there. And then the very rear of the ship has the name. The very rear of the ship has the name on the back also. So there you go. Basically an easy kit to build. So I'm done. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.